for tonight?
I'm rooting for everybody black. I am betting on black tonight.
Lovely. You look great.
Welcome to CodeBlaqueFacts, where we talk about all things black to include news and viral videos, mental health, self-love, self-care, self-development, black women issues, crime stories, and black history. If you are interested in any of these topics, please subscribe to my channel, like, share, and don't forget to comment below. Thank you.
Say it's a black thing, run deep in the roots. Blacker the berry, baby, the sweeter the juice.
Hello everyone. Thank you guys for joining. So I'm going to be very quick because I'm pretty sure you guys have already heard content on this, and I wanted to give my perspective as it relates to just the overall black community. There are a lot of people talking about, let me see if I can put this on the screen. Hold on, let me put that on the screen really quickly. So you have a lot of people talking about an ex-football player by the name of Channing Crowder, and he was on the Pivot podcast, which airs on YouTube, and he had some things to say about, Russell and Ciara. And so there are a lot of conversations going on about, women choosing better, and then when women do, it's still a problem. People are talking about, you know, uh, women choosing men for money, and that, it's a real thing that women do choose men for money. I mean, it's all different types of conversations. It's conversations talking about, how it's sad that many men, particularly men in the black community, you know, consider the bad boy, or, the guy that's got a lot of drama going on, to be the cool dude. And then, the guy that's got less drama, just kind of living a simple life, mind his business, he's the corny dude. And so, we've been hearing these conversations, but what I want to talk about is how this mindset affects the black community overall: men, women, children, the families. And, it's really sad because for some time we've seen the vitriol, I would call it, towards Ciara, and how, Ciara has been just is she's really, really been scrutinized for literally doing what many men who say women in her position should do, right? So Ciara was a single mother. She got with Future and made a baby, and that whole thing was going on. And so a lot of men was like, oh, women need to choose better, and oh well, you know Ciara, she is beautiful, she has all this money, and she still chose the bad boy, and things like that. But then the thing about it is, when she did choose a good guy, it wasn't enough. And this woman has been married to this man for 7 years, guys. And they are literally living their life. They look happy. They look like they're in love. She can't stop getting pregnant. So that ought to tell you something right there. I mean, every time we see it, a woman's pregnant, this man is out. So you already know it's going down in the bedroom. I mean, you can't have children, not that many kids, unless somebody's putting it down in the bedroom. So they are living life. And, for them to continue to be under scrutiny is just extreme. And it's not, I mostly see it from the men. It's not even so much the women, it's the men. And it's like, I don't get it. I mean, I get it, but I don't get it. Right? It's like, it's confusing because it's like, okay, well, if women are to learn from their mistakes and choose better, then wouldn't Russell be choosing better? Because I mean, look at Future. He's literally in the same spot, if not worse, when him and Ciara broke up. Like, you're supposed to elevate. Part of getting older is not, see, this is the thing, and this is what I want to talk about. So let me get into the points that I want to talk about. I want to talk about Black relationships, right? Celebrity relationships that we can all point to, and we all, point to as the, you know, the relationships that we should, as a Black community, that we should aim to be in or be like, right? These relationships that are put on pedestals in the Black community, right? I want to talk about that, and I want to talk about how in those relationships you don't see love public display, like love and affection and public display towards their Black women. You just see them out. You may see them holding hands. You may see them with their children, but that's about it. And Russell, on the other hand, he shows a lot of public display towards Ciara and their child, and the child that she has with Future. You always see videos of him, teaching the little boy, things in life and stuff like that. And he's always at his games, and he's very attentive to him, and he just loves on that little boy. And people will take that and twist it and turn it into, oh well, he's a simp. Oh well, he why is he doing that? And it's just like, are you kidding me? So I want to talk about that. I want to talk about um the marriage, how the Black community views marriage. And see, this is the thing, it's both the men and the women in the Black community, from what I see, and the mindset behind it, that I believe is problematic. Okay. And the next thing I want to talk about is the manhood. Like, what is considered manhood in the Black community? And again, I've said this once, and I'll continue to say it. Many people, we can't, on one hand, tell people that 75% of Black children are born in single parent homes. We can't say that on one hand, and then not say what the effects of that look like. And the effects of that looks like a bunch of Black people who do not know what manhood looks like or is. That's what that look like. The men don't know what it is or look like, and nor do the women. And this is why we're having some issues about manhood and about what represents manhood in the Black community. The next thing I want to talk about is some of the occupations and careers and things like that that I think should be pushed, as it relates to Black men, because we see one of two things that are pushed, and that to me affects the overall mindset and the overall views about what manhood is and what that looks like to a family and to a woman, and to raising a family and things like that. So um it's sad to me that Russell and Ciara, they they continue. It's like, anytime you bring up Ciara, it's nothing but negative things that are said, right? About her, about more so Russell, you know, her too, because of her being with Future. And it's funny because this is my thing. Like, when young men are out here wilding out, they're messing with all these different women. They're creating these kids with different women. They're going to jail. When, like, we see these sport players going to jail and all this kind of stuff, a lot of men in our community look to that and say, "Oh, well, they're just young. Oh, that's just part of being young, and they're learning and they're having different experiences." And then it's like, when women get with these men, then it's like, "Oh, well, no, we they can't use the excuse of just being young. They can't use the excuse of not really knowing what they want or anything like that." And that's the part that I have a problem with, because, like, young men who grow up in these communities and they make these mistakes and go to jail for them, right? And then people get mad. Oh, well, black men, see, they just trying to keep a black man down because yeah, they just put taking him to jail for no reason, or they're just blowing it out of proportion. No, 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 no. Yes, that is done. Yes, racism does exist. Yes, they do blow certain things out of proportion in relation to their white male counterparts. Absolutely, that goes without saying. But we're talking about as it relates to the women on the opposite spectrum of that. We if a woman is out here walling out, going to jail, whatever, she's like, oh, she's hood, she's ghetto, she's this, she's that. She's not given the same understanding as the man is giving. And this is coming from a very conservative person. Like, when it comes to behaving out in public, I am very conservative. I am very, like, you know, just simple. Like, I'm very low key. So this is coming from me, somebody that's like that, right? Where I do have views, just my own personal views of how I, as a black woman, should conduct myself. But I am also understanding to young women who may do crazy things or whatever, act a certain way, who may not make the best decisions. And, I can be honest and say that, I used to look at certain things in certain situations and be very critical of those situations because I would take it personally. Even though, like, if I went to Walmart and I saw a black woman acting quote unquote hood or ghetto, I would take that personally because I would look at her and think, man, you are representing me. You're representing other black women, and I am embarrassed by that. And it took me a long time to understand that I shouldn't be embarrassed of that because it's not me. It took me a while to understand that I'm not going to carry that burden within the black community like I used to in the past. I used to carry that as a burden, because I do understand how the outside world look at the black community. They see one black person or a group of black person acting a certain kind of way, and they just deem all black people that way. And so for me, it was important for me to carry myself with the utmost respect, not just for myself or not just for the people who are, on the outside looking in, but that's just how I am. That's my personality. Like, that's just how I am. I'm just very conservative like that, you know. But moving on. So in the black community, we have seen couples such as Samuel Jackson and his wife, right? LL Cool J and his wife, Denzel Washington and his wife, Jay-Z and Beyonce. At one point, it used to be Will and Jada, but we see how that went. But we would uplift these couples and say, "Oh, they've been married this long, and look at this." But guys, if you really think about it, have you ever seen Samuel Jackson, Denzel Washington, LL Cool J, Jay-Z, have you ever seen them display public love and affection? And I'm not just talking about walking down the red carpet holding hands. I'm not just talking about, looking over and smiling at your woman. I'm not talking about that. See, the black community, we are not used to seeing a black man love on his woman publicly, other than hold her hand, like love on her, dote about her, let the world know that he is, that this woman is everything. We are not used to seeing that. So when we see that, right, we're like, oh, well, something's wrong with him. Oh, he's a simp. Oh, why is he acting like that? Because we are used to seeing black women just kind of, they just there. They're just there. And this is no disrespect to none of the people that I named and their wives, but it's true. It's true. And I understand a lot of that has to do with, you don't want to put too much out there in the public, and certain people have certain beliefs about public display and stuff like that. I get it. But again, that still feeds into what we see. That still feeds into the imagery of what we see in the healthiness of that. And again, I got to keep bringing this up because people, they say this all the time. 75% of Black people, we're raised in single parent homes. So we ain't going to see no public display. We're not going to see that healthiness. And so when Russell is doing this, it's talked down on. He's said to be a simp. And the sad thing about it, you guys, is that, you know, the same way I was always taught, you treat others how you want to be treated, right? So if you want someone to love on you, respect you, honor you, whatever, then you put that into the universe. You do that as well. It's not just the woman should do that. And I think that's what the problem is. That is for sure the problem. But you know what's uplifted as opposed to that? So you got Russell Wilson, who shows a ton of love towards Ciara, towards their children, towards the son that she has with Future. But then on the flip side of that, you know what I've seen? I've seen guys by the thousands, if not millions, over the years dote on a man who is sexualizing his woman, right? So, like a man who shows his woman popping her butt, and while she's popping her butt, he's like tapping her butt. And you got the men in the comment, oh yeah, doting on that. That's public love and affection to many in Black society. Do y'all see the what's the word? I don't want to use too harsh words, so I want to be very careful with my words. But do y'all see how harmful that could be? On one hand, a man who is, soft, loving, caring to his woman, not to other men. You don't see Russell being like this to other men. He's like this to his wife, the woman he married. Okay? There's a difference. Loving, caring, soft, kind, words of affirmation, things like that. He's doing that publicly, and they do it to each other. She does it to him too. But he's doing that to his wife. And that's seen as being a simp. But then you got a dude who's standing behind his woman while she popping her ass and dropping it down to the floor, and that's supposed to be manly. Like, do you guys see that? Like, that's insane. And it's quite honestly, it's offensive to me. It's offensive. Like, if the only time you want to show me love and affection is when I'm popping my ass, like, no. But that's what we're putting out for the world to see by, oh, you know what? Let me play the video. I haven't even played the video. Hold on. Let me play the video.
Ciara. Yeah, if Russell ain't had that bread, Ciara ain't gonna be with him. Russell square. Russell square. Ciara had she has a good situation, but you don't leave Future and get with Russell Wilson.
The thing is,
I think that's what you don't leave Future and get with Russell Wilson. Like, it's a type. Listen, bro, everybody got a type.
Yeah, that's true.
Everybody has a type. You gonna leave Future and get with Russell Wilson? He's so damn square, and I love him on the field. He's a square.
Channing.
He's a fucking square.
Channing, you go from this level of toxicity, you just want something stable. You want the guy that was sitting with that girl with that big old mouth at the draft that was laughing, and you knew she deserved to be with him.
Goofball?
Yeah, you want that guy.
You want to get with goofballs.
Hold up.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's calling Russell corny, goofball. Guys, that should be an embarrassment. It really should. Like, that should be an embarrassment to the men who belong to the Black community. Like, this man is literally, inadvertently uplifting Future, a man who has several baby mothers, a man who, has, yeah, he's uplifting that over Russell. The agony. So back to what I was saying. The next thing that I wanted to talk about was marriage, right? So, getting married and creating a family and building wealth, that's corny. That's corny because what we see being uplifted is the dudes in the club wilding out, messing off all their money in the strip club, different women every other week, right? Getting, the liquor, the alcohol, smoking, that's what's uplifted. That's what's supposed to be cool. And this kind of takes me back to high school. This is so childish. Like, I can't even believe you got Channing is like mid 30s, headed towards 40s, with a whole family of his own, a wife and kids of his own, and this is his mindset. That's scary. That's scary. How are you a married man and this is your mindset about marriage, the union of marriage? Like, you're literally looking at Ciara and Russell and you're calling this man corny and goofy because he's married, he has a family, he's building wealth, he's, raising the next generation of children who are going to be going to school with your children and in the world with your children. Children that 9 times out of 10 living with him and Ciara probably have the best chances of being the best that they can be, as opposed to Ciara being a single mother and Future just coming around whenever he get ready and never really spending time with the young boy. Like, you're going to have to choose. Do you want to raise a community of upstanding young Black men who represent you, or do you not? I don't get it. The next thing I want to talk about is the public display of manhood, right? For, boys and men. Give me a second. I'm reading my notes. Oh yeah, so the public display of boys that are in a community that are not yours. They're not yours by blood or by any relation. They're just boys and Black boys who need to see manhood. Clearly this man don't care. And this is another problem. And this is why I push Black men to create spaces for young boys and other adult men and young men that have been harmed, abused, whatever. Create those safe spaces. Don't wait on the government, white society, women, or whoever to create them for you. You got to go back into the communities and get these young boys and do the best you can. Nobody's saying get them, bring them into your home. And one of the reasons why I had so much respect for the football player, oh my God, Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders raised his own boys. He raised family member boys from other people's neighborhoods. I had so much respect when he had his show and everything. I just thought that was amazing because I'm like, man, to me, that's what, going back after you didn't made it, you didn't make your millions, you go back and you get the others. It reminds me of that Harriet Tubman. I could have saved more people, but I forget the exact quote, but you guys get what I'm saying. Like, going back may be different from everybody. Like, nobody's saying it's certain particular things that you got to do when you go back. Going back just could mean, look, these young boys, they let's say 5, 6, 7 years old, they ain't really got a man coming around helping them. I have the means, I have the time, I have a son of my own. I'm gonna go pick them up and take them over here to practice with my son. And after practice, we're gonna spend time together. I'm gonna help them with their home, doing what you can do. You, as a Black man, I mean, to me, I don't. That's why I could understand why, because this whole thing about like not getting with single mothers and helping to raise another man's child. Like, okay, I get that because to each his own. You got some people who that maybe they can't afford to do that, or whatever. But clearly Russell can. Clearly he can. And clearly that was not an issue for him. So if it wasn't an issue for him, it shouldn't be an issue for you. And the way that I look at that is that it's not like Ciara needed him financially to do that. So for him to say that she got with him for money, like, okay, really? And did she really do that? Because I mean, I don't know what Ciara's worth is, but I'm pretty sure she could be a single mother with just that one child and could have did very well financially. I'm pretty sure. So we're not, Ciara is not like your average, girl who dropped out of high school at 16 and is struggling. This woman started her career very young. She was a teenager. And she's now married and has been married for 7 years. So for him to say that is so weird. And it's like, why not look at Russell like, man, because it's not like Future is going to go get the little boy and raise the little boy, a certain type of way. It's not like Future is going to do that. So why would you clown Russell and say that Russell is a cornball or a simp for that? And I'm not saying Channing said this exactly because he didn't, but we all know these are the elements of why they're calling Russell a cornball and lame. I just don't understand that. And then my last thing is this, going back into the communities, getting the boys. I've said this once before on one of my other videos. I think when it comes to pushing young men and young Black boys into certain career paths, men are going to have to do and promote that. What we see men doing is promoting and pushing sports and entertainment. And that's a problem. That's a problem. You got people, let me tell you something, you guys. You got people out here in the cosmetic surgery career path making money. Ask me how many Black people, men or women, are even in there. Why not push that? I mean, it's not enough to just say, hey, go be a doctor. No, why don't you do this? Because this cosmetic surgery, it is the way that things are going now, like, is money being made. But no, if we want to tell our kids to go play sports or get into entertainment. And this is why most of Black wealth is in sports and entertainment. This is why I forget the percentage. I think it was something like 7% or something like that. I can't remember the actual percentage, but it's like out of all the Black wealth, all the millionaires, billionaires, it's only a very, very small percentage of those who are not in sports or entertainment. They're doing something like tech, or they're doing something like, something that we should be encouraging, particularly Black boys, Black young men to be a part of, because we can't sit up and complain that we have no representation and that these industries are so, racist and all this kind of stuff, but then we're not encouraging our children and our young people to take advantage of being in those careers, in those career paths. So that's pretty much all I have for you guys. I didn't want the video to be long. I hope you guys enjoyed the content, and we'll talk until next time. Bye. Hello?